2024 online tournament here. We've got ourselves the fifth of 12 qualifiers. I'm starting with me on comms' new IT guy. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh, not bad. Looking forward to a good race here. We've got ourselves Vulcan and Fabio on restream. Should be fun. Serenade start with the Kokiri Emerald.
Yep. That's nice. One less thing to get bridge condition.
Yep. You can find the rule stock in the chat about what are the settings. So this is fairly base settings in a sense for OTR. We shuffle the chests. We shuffle like gifts from NPCs. We shuffle mini games. We don't shuffle things like scrubs or skulls or the shops or the crates or the pots. We record the three spiritual stones to open the Rainbow Bridge to Ganon's Castle, and the Ganon's Castle boss key is on the light arrow cutscene behind the Shadow and Spirit medallions.
Yes.
We do start with Prelude and the Light Medallion, Prelude to make getting around the map easier, Fortress, Shadow, Domain, and DMT Foolish.
Mm-hmm.
And we have hints, as is usual for racing anything, to help guide us. In this case, the 4 foolish hints are guaranteed at Temple of Time in this particular hint distribution. Different tournaments use different ones. That will tell us that there is nothing that is required. There's nothing that can lock any check in those regions of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we start with Prelude for fast travel. The light in these settings, the Light Medallion is also the dungeon with the Light Medallion in it is pre-completed, so we will never need to touch it. But yeah, feel free to ask questions. I know we don't see OOTR on the Speedgaming channels all that often. You can find OOTR more commonly at the Zelda Speedruns family of networks, on the channel The Silver Gauntlet, and on the channel Scrub Central is our main restreaming. Most of our tourneys are restreamed. Strength upgrade on the Man on Roof, very nice. We have 2 very experienced runners here. Volk and Fabio both have been around for a few years. Volk, one of our many members of our Francophone community. Fabio coming out of Chile, as we find Sacred Forest Meadows Path to Phantom Gaiden, probably for the song.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla Sarias is likely. Path hints in this case, I already mentioned Foolish is. Path hints indicated there is an item in that hint region logically required to beat the boss.
And we're picking up Bolero. Nice early warp song that can create a song chain.
And yes, Fabio is in fact a keyboard player. Question from chat. Piece of Shadow Anju. 20 and 30 skulls are hinted in the Skull House. This is a relatively new feature to the randomizer. And 20 is a slingshot. We probably don't care.
Nope. Also, another change from normal OOTR logic if you're used to watching it on the ZSR family of networks. In these settings, B1 skip is enabled as a logical trick. So slingshot logic not required.
Logic referring to the checks the randomizer algorithm has built into it to make sure you can't get permanently stuck. Such as, if you have required Fire Temple, you can't have a hammer in Volvagia or a Mirashon on Twinrova for the same reason.
So, no pass for...
And Logic has default parameters. Like, it expects certain things, like going into this grave is very easy. That's default logic. You don't need any items for it. Versus, like, it is possible to boomerang this item here in the crate, but that is a trick because it is not particularly intuitive. Nor is it the easiest thing if you don't know the setup.
And it is a purple rupee.
Yep, so there are some tricks that are enabled in pretty much all racing settings, one of them being getting to the man on roof without a hookshot, which we saw from both runners earlier for a strength upgrade. That is in logic. There are also other things like getting to the freestanding item in Death Mountain Crater on top of a volcano with just hover boots, no need for a bean, and some other things. B1 skip is not typically in the list of racing tricks, but we have added it for this tournament. Because, yeah, there are some tricks that are easy and some that are not, and we're not total meanies when it comes to default logic. Do you recognize Fabio's model?
Fabio is Fox from Star Fox 64.
Never played that game. And that's a hammer. Okay, game. Speaking of hammers earlier.
So Graveyard is on the path to Volve, obviously. We're going to see that hint at some point.
If fire is a required dungeon, that
Right.
is. Game does try to give us one path for each of the required dungeons. We don't know which because nobody's checked their menu for that yet. But the game does try to give us at least one path in for each required dungeon. There are 5 total path hints in this rule set. All hints have 2 copies each, except for the foolish hints. Alright, there's our thing. Except for Fabio was too fast and I didn't catch it. There we go.
It is DC, Forest are our 2 stones, and then Fire is our pre-completed. And then Shadow, Spirit, Jabu, Water, and Deku.
Sorry, can you read off the medallions again?
Sure. So starting with Fire being light, and then Shadow, Spirit, Jabu, Water, Deku.
Okay, well, light medallion of fire with the early hammer is kind of an eye roll. Deku, Water, DC, and Forest. Not a bad required dungeon layout, potentially, though. A lot of very low item requirement dungeons, Water Temple being the one potential exception.
Yep. Could also hint that our hammers for our easy way of getting explosives, maybe they're bomb locked or whatever, and need a hammer to unlock it.
Yeah, because hammer does do a number of things. We could actually go take a look in DC. I would be surprised if just someone does those here soonish with a hammer and strength.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to go clear DMT first, but that's going to be on the list of things to potentially take a look at.
Also, maybe the game just wants us to have something to hit Ganon with later on, and is being nice about it.
Yeah, fun fact, in the first phase of the Ganon fight, there's a lot of things you can hit his tail with when you don't have a Master Sword.
Mm-hmm.
That includes the big Oran Sword and the Giant's Knife, obviously. It also includes arrows, bombs, arrows are both elemental and non-elemental, bomb chews, the hammer, and for some reason, Deku Nuts.
Yep. Nuts being the worst out of the whole bunch.
Actually, no, they're actually pretty good because they've got a really big hitbox.
That's true.
You can't store the crouch stab damage, but if you don't have a hammer or a BGS, that's the next best thing, just for the hitbox.
That's fair.
Alright, so Frogs one's a bow. Speaking of bows.
Claim check. Okay.
Haunted Wasteland was dead, I think.
Yep.
And
a t-shirt. See, it does jokes.
Yes, it does. That's not quite vanilla, but close to it. And yeah, correct. Yeah, the general order of things for top runners, at least, I'm kind of added it myself. Hey, bow on Link the Goron. Never mind the one on Frogs 1. But yeah, generally the order for items that are ideal to use on Ganon's tail is in order: hammer, the big Goron sword, and nuts. Hammer because you don't have the menu to unequip the BGS and re-equip the.
Speaking of the big Goron sword,
the Master Sword. But speaking of that, yes. But also, and then BGS because you can do crouch stab storage, and then nuts because of the hitbox. And then if you're out of nuts and you don't have the hammer or the BGS, start to using your bows. It's nice at that point. Ground jumping is a glitch, so no, it's not in logic. We do run on a more or less glitchless rule set, with ground jumps being the primary exception. You'll see that at some point once they get bombs, when they use it to give themselves a little bit of extra vertical height to climb things. Mostly really allowed even in a otherwise glitchless rule set because they bypass a number of really silly glitchless jumps. There is also one clip allowed in Shadow Temple because it also bypasses a really, really, really silly glitchless jump. And other than that, clips are banned. Already 2 duplicates you found of both of our single sometimes hints already. And DC not paying out with much for Fabio, but it's easy to get back, sets the elevator, and not a bad idea to just go in and see what's there. Mask is dead, always nice. In this hint distribution, only some checks can be hinted. Some are always guaranteed to get hints, like 20 and 30 will always be in the Skull House. We'll always get a Frogs 2 hint, a Skull Mask hint, and a Burning Kakariko song hint. And then there's a selection of other hints that can checks that can get hinted. But the game's not going to hint in Minos House, for instance. There's really not much more than that. Witches. Run City Path to Morpha, interesting. And a bomb bag.
Which was hammer locked or bomb locked?
Yeah. Goron City Path to Morpha is interesting. The only things we found there is a bow and a Goron tunic. Goron tunic cannot be the path because it's only required for Fire Temple in these settings. We have the Trick Fewer tunic requirements on, so Goron tunic's only required for Fire Temple, and the Sword tunic's only required for the Central Pillar of Water Temple. So it can't be the Goron tunic.
Did we see a hint yet for Bigoron?
No, that one's it's claim check only, so there's no Bigoron hint. It's just turned in.
Oh right, so it can't be. Yeah, that's right. If it sends it, it can't be the path.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot Bigoron is in the Goron City Maze. So that is the claim check is in the Goron City Maze. So that is also a potential path. Thank you, I forgot about that. Well, I expect Fabio will do that when he does his loop through DMC, so we'll see what that is. Storms is probably bow locked. Yeah, that's likely Shannock. Forest Temple is the Sapphire, so probably decent chance Storms is on OT.
And I will be right back in a second.
No worries. So that's just something to note for path hints and foolish hints as well. When all copies of an item are functionally identical in terms of unlocking checks, such as bows, bomb bags, slingshots, magic meters, or slingshots or magic meters, one copy can only be Way of the Hero or Path, Way of the Hero being another variant of hints similar to paths, if it locks all other copies. So that bow in Goron City can only be Path and Morpha if it locks both other bows and Morpha. It is also theoretically possible to find a strength lock, not strength lock. So you can find like a bomb bag in Fire Temple potentially if that's bomb locked as well in this seed, even though not in the foolish area. Not in this case. I'm thinking of something else, but you could have a bow on horseback archery as well, because Fortress is foolish, but that would be if the bow. But foolish, such items can only be foolish if there is one copy that locks all others. So in this case, if the Goron City bow is the only one available, we could have one on HBA. There we go. Great. And I missed what Fabio got off the claim check, but I assume it was junk. Or he didn't turn it in? Okay. Never mind. Oh, DMT is foolish. That's why. Whoops. Never mind. So yeah, that's currently looking like the Boa's path in Goron City, though it could be something in Child Goron City.
Mhm.
Now, to note as well, dungeons are separate from their overworld regions for hints, so Jiaobu and Ice Cavern, GTG, for instance, Gerudo Training Ground can still have something even though Fortress is foolish, and DC could have still had something even though DMT was foolish. DC so far has been a bust, but there can still theoretically be something in the back.
Yep.
Which you'll see here from Volk.
It's still progression required, so you know.
Pretty much. If we find a hookshot here in the back for Volk, or if we find one, Frox 2 is dead. Nice. Or we find a hookshot here in Kokiri for Fabio. That's Forest Temple full clearable. And as I say that, there's two big chests here. We do have chest size and texture matches contents. Nice choose. On which means that well, the appearance of a chest will match what it has inside it. So that's why they're not opening brown chests.
That's interesting. Scale
and a bomb chew pack. Bomb chews are logically not in logic in these settings. They are not going to be considered by the logic for explosive lock checks, but they're really nice to have. Bomb chews are in big chests in these settings, yes. Now, here's a trick that is not in logic, but is pretty much known by all top runners, is just do that. To bypass Mido as adult without needing Saria Song. Logically, you're supposed to have Saria Song to play to him, or to have Minya to warp past him, and it's likely that the path to Phantom Ganon in Sacred Forest Meadow is the Child Song on Saria, either Vanilla Saria Song or Minya to get here. Could be a hookshot in the Wolf's Grotto, that would be funny. Light arrows! Speaking of the fact that DC could have something even though DMT is foolish.
not particularly useful right this second, but required.
Yep. Nobody's missing those today. And yeah, it's probably the song on Saria. It's probably Vanilla Saria's or Minya on Saria.
Mm-hmm.
There's an example of ground jumps that I mentioned earlier, using a bomb to get some extra height. What's in the... Okay, bomb bag and chest. Funny.
I don't know
Probably
if I want those
bomb
bombs.
locked,
They're kind of
and
wet.
they really don't care. Sunsong Grave is dead, also nice. And our song here is... yes. So we do start with Prelude. That means that one of the 12 song checks is going to be forced to be an item.
Ooh.
In this case, well, dead... huge rupee on the Minya check. Dead and fire arrows for well dead hand. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a small key in fire arrows? I might have misread.
I believe that was a small key. And
Zeal
Zeal in the crater.
Okay, that usually does tend to turn up early because you do need that for most seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, here's a thought. So one of the quirks about this particular tournament and its hints is that with layered win conditions, where you have both, so a lot of racing settings usually play with 6 medallions for the River Bridge and no requirement for the Gans Castle boss key. As in, you can just, as in the boss key is removed and the doors unlocked once you get there. Child Goron City, those 2 checks are dead. But because we do have Doridia's Skull Kid, sorry, is dead.
Yep.
But because we do have layered win conditions, there is a prioritization to path-ins, as if an item that is required for one of the stones, being the earlier of the 2 win conditions, because you need to get the Rainbow Bridge before you can get to Ganon, an item that is required for the stones cannot be hindered on the path to the Rainbow Bridge. That, though, cannot be path to Morpha, because Forest Temple is a stone.
That is correct.
Blue Fire Arrows and Child Shooting Gallery, so there is something either on the Hot Rod or Goron or in the pot. Because those are the only things left in Goron City, and we've seen everything else, and Darunia was just hinted to be useless, so... Something is something that's fun. Though the bow is a questionable path anyway, since there's 3 of them in the game, and there's nothing indicating that the Frogs One bow isn't available right now.
Well, it also could be the claim check, can't it?
No, because... DMT's foolish.
Oh, DMT, yeah. He's at the top, though. Like, I mean, that's like the summit. Like, DMT summit, yeah? Okay. Okay, I'm just being a smartass now.
Yes, you are. Boomerang!
Ooh, Lord Banana. And the Boulder of Destiny having something. We saw this, yes. That's where that.
It's nicknamed the Boulder of Destiny for some really old engine from like the early days of OOT. I don't quite remember the specific story.
Something like it always has the Go Mode item and it was like never checked or something.
Yeah. It's that, or you call it, I don't know, Bombable Crowded by Market or something.
Right.
Queen Goma. Interesting. It's kind of like K45 Vanilla TDPR. The Vanilla, there's not really a good name for it, so there's just one created by the community. Or Hype Cave is a good one for that as well.
Active Phantom Ganon?
That's an interesting one. Once I can stare at my hints sheet again.
Strength 1.
Yeah, that might do it if it locks both others. It probably isn't Bolero. Graveyard Path to King Dodongo, that would be for the hammer.
Yeah, the only...
Because we know one was in a bomb lock grotto, the other 2 are probably also bomb locked.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of is the Bolero path would have to be because ZL locks something, like ZL locks both hook shots or something. And,
yeah,
and
which is possible, to be fair.
It would have to lock all hook shots and hover boots.
Yeah, because we have multiple ways of blowing Link the Goron up, that's not the problem.
Yeah, it's getting across that bridge, that's the problem.
Song of Storm Sun Malin confirms, yeah, the Frogs One boat was available. Not surprising. That said, the well could be a candidate for that Bolero potential path. It's also just a bunch of checks. And Graveyard to Goma is unresolved. One of the things to note is that you can't have 2 path hints for the same item because that's redundant. You also can't have a path hint for an item that's separately hinted. Like, we're not... Well, storms could, I suppose, be indirectly pathed for... Well, in this case, it wouldn't be indirectly pathed anyway, but...
What? What's that?
I have no idea what's in that.
Were those
ZL
irons?
could be indirect.
Yes, ZL could be indirect.
Or Bolero can be indirect path to get ZL to get fire arrows for the well, but the well itself could not have been hinted path for those fire arrows. Oh, Big Koban. Interesting.
That is a weird sprite.
It's probably like a K-Sword and Composer's Grave. I mean, that's possible, yeah, Shannock. SFM to Phantom Ganon again is either Saria's or Minion on Saria, most likely. It's possible it's something like Requiem to get the song from Colossus, but
I don't think it can be. It can't be for Deku. It can't be for the K-Sword. If I remember right, because with path prioritization the way it is, doesn't it have to... I guess unless all the hook shots are in Deku, maybe.
Oh no, CAC is to PG. I was talking about Graveyard to Goma.
Oh! Sorry, I thought we were talking... Never mind.
Although I think I might was confusing with wording. It's hard to explain paths.
Ignore me. I'm
That's
just here.
Finishing DC for Fabio, Volk is going to take a look at the Composer Grave song, which will give us an idea as to what's pathed here for Goma. Daly doesn't have Time of Day for Danpei, and doesn't have Sun Song to make that easy, so that's something for later. Like, I get why he's doing this before going Kokiri Forest, because he can also out-of-logic the torches here. This is one of the very few allowed glitches in the game. I'm not quite sure why, but you can store the flames from a torch and carry it further than you normally would. Something about OOT hitboxes being weird is the simple explanation.
It's something about if you light it, and as long as that torch is still loaded into memory, at the time you pull it back out, you can still it will still be lit.
Yeah, it's OOT is a well-coded video game.
Yes, that has no problems at all, and is perfect.
Requiem here. Okay, that's interesting. But normally the torches by the song check are too far to get the flame over, but Flame Surge lets you carry the flame further. It's a fairly minor glitch as things go. It only really sequence break this check, and it's nice for a couple other things. Which is probably why it's not. It's just pretty minor as all things go. But,
yeah, definitely a trick worth knowing.
Yeah, Requiem being our current path here, we know it can't be the hammer because it lacks King Dodongo, and that is a confirmed path. Requiem is interesting because it unlocks Spirit Temple access. We don't have Strength 2. Spirit itself is the Fire Medallion, so we don't really want to go there. It also unlocks the Colossus Fairy and the song check, which the song might be it. We are missing Epona, Saria's Sun Song, and Song of Time. Song of Time and Nocturne, which are the 5 songs that can lock checks. Minuet won't be. Minuet will probably not be there unless the reason why SFM is path to PG is because there's a song on the child song check that unlocks our hookshot, I guess. But unlikely. I suspect, though, that the CAC path to PG is locking our hookshot, and the SFM to PG is probably just our forest access.
Yeah.
Also, forces so many it can be path to go on. Yeah, not Minuet at Colossus, but any of Nocturne, Epona's, Saria's Sunsa. Oh, Saria is not really that, because Saria's there would be interesting, but it's probably.
Hey, our third bow.
Funny.
That's
just really hammered in that Goron City is not path for the first bow.
But what about second bow? They've heard about that one, right?
Now, paths, like as mentioned, paths for items that are functionally identical for all copies. Like a second bow is nice for extra arrows, but it doesn't unlock anything new. On the other hand, you can have different strength upgrades each be hinted path, because more than different strength upgrades unlock different checks. Same goes for multiple hookshots, or multiple scales.
Now a gold scale.
Bottles are a weird edge case because there's Rudo's letter, but there's also regular bottles.
And regular bottles can lock all other bottles.
Yes, it gets a little funny. Bottles are not an example I use when explaining paths for items with multiple copies because it gets weird and is rather scene dependent. Generally, regular bottles are not like the path. Big Foe bottles or Rudo's letter, yes. Rito's letter and a Big Po are the only two things that can be logically considered for bottle contents, because anything else you can just get rid of.
Yeah.
You have to turn in a Big Po, and you have to turn in Rito's letter. You can't get rid of those by accident. The game also does guarantee you have access to refills for stuff. Doesn't come up usually in racing settings, but in like all sanities it can be a thing. Is it a pair of boots on the arch? Shadow Trial 2 is a vanilla strength upgrade.
Those look like irons up there.
Yeah.
That's an interesting...
And Nocturne here at the Colossus is probably not the thing we wanted.
No?
We don't have Dins or a magic meter to use it to get into Shadow Temple, and that's the only thing it unlocks.
Yeah.
Not unless you need Song of Time for Prelude or Burning Cack. Song of Time opponents or Suns are all possible. Well, actually, Sun's on Grave is dead, so we don't care about Suns, but opponents or Song of Time on Prelude would be fun.
Right, because that has implications for water also.
Yeah, or for that matter, Saria's could be there in its menu item, the Saria for forest access. That would be silly.
Yeah.
Actually, no, both Saria's song checks are dead. So it's not Saria's, it's not the Suns, but it could be opponents or Song of Time on Prelude check for funsies. Shadow itself is foolish, so Nocturne can't be for that, as chat points out. So yeah, the photos for Song of Time. Now, there are ways of bypassing both things. We do know that the River Chest is a bomb bag we don't need. Song of Time would only really be hard required for the toilet in GTG, or if somehow there are 3 keys Song of Time locked and the center chest is the center chest has an item you need in it. That's a very, very rare edge case.
That is true.
Eponas actually would only logically be required because we can reverse Wasteland, we can out of logic Big Pose, and Fortress is foolish.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very, very unlikely hard required for Burning Cack. Possible logical Burning Cack in the odd edge case, but unlikely to be hard required.
Yeah, it also gives you a good idea of where your hook shots are and aren't.
Yeah, if it is Eponas.
Yeah. Blue fire arrows.
Saw that a bit earlier for Volk. Anything short of K-Sword on Phone, and we can ignore that Nocturne. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Oh my gosh, is that a Joey Wheeler?
Child Spirit has a small key and a boss key. Good to know. Requiem very well might just be to get those keys to continue in Spirit Temple.
That is
the question becomes,
possible.
where's our Strength 3? Because we know where Strength 2 is, and we're not getting that fast.
We might if we get a hook shot.
Yeah, true. Depends. We do have Shadow Trial 2 is an interesting check just because there's a couple different ways of getting there. You can do long shot and hovers, you can do long shot and dins, there's a slingshot. Thanks, game. 20 skills, definitely not required for now. Or long shot, yeah. Shadow Trial 2, you can do long shot and dins like the torches, you can do long shot and hovers, as in you long shot the like, and then hovers over to the switch, or just regular old fire arrows. Wolk heading up Child River now is going to get the hints here. There's 3 different path hints here in River. He's going to be happy to see them. Fabio interested in going for the Harrow Castle 2 hint here. Don't see that often, and that is opponents on Burning Cack. So yeah, not going to be hard required all dungeons. All dungeons referring to when we have to complete dungeons that are not part of the win conditions just because the game has decided that there was something behind them. In this case, a song on in these settings, a song on the Burning Kakariko song track behind the Forest Fire and Water medallions. That's required. Nope, opponent song we can bypass the logical requirements. Though, it also does, however, create the possibility that Graveyard is path to Goma to get Nocturne to beat Shadow Temple as part of a Burning Cack chain.
Mm-hmm.
And the case where it's just sitting in GT is just potentially sitting in G. Well, not it wouldn't be sitting in GTG, but it could be on Big Pose. GTG it wouldn't be logical great GTG access behind Nocturne if Nocturne is path to Goma, because then it would be for Morpha, not Nocturne, but not Goma. Sorry for the prioritized. Actually, we do have a Big Pobala, good point. So yeah. So can't be Nocturne for Opono's access then. It could be Nocturne logically for Song of Time, for instance, on GTG. There's a few odd possibilities. This is kind of one of those where it's not going to make much sense till we find more info on it, I think. We do have Dompe time here for Fabio, I think, so... Let's see what that is. He's also getting a skull. Not forgetting about 10 skulls that bit several people in the last qualifier. Nocturne will be path for K-Sword and GTG because the opponent is logical GTG access, because that would mean long shots behind Nocturne, which it isn't. In which case Nocturne couldn't be Goma path because of the layered path hint. So no, it could be because water is a lax medallion too. Never mind, that's on me for scatterbraiding. So yeah, it could be opponents for logical GTG access, and I'm mixing it up. At any rate, Requiem confirmed is the path one way or the other for something because it's the only thing in Graveyard that's not a hammer. Okay. Path hints are confusing, in case you can't tell. K-Sword is in Spirit or GTG or behind Spirit or GTG. Yeah, because we know that the Prelude song could only be relevant if it's Song of Time, and Song of Time is only relevant for GTG anyway. Yeah, all this really boils down to is where was our first hookshot still remains the big question. Because I'm really suspecting the game wants us to go Forest Temple as our next play. And it's just a matter of how do we get there. But I have like this. Yeah, this is like sorry as your menu for a t-shirt. And yep, that checks.
Oh, game.
What was that on 10?
Slingshot.
Funny.
Who wants a slingshot? You get a slingshot. Everyone gets a slingshot. Sunsong still dead. And a very wet bomb bag.
Yep. I hope the bag itself is waterproof. Otherwise, you're gonna have a really hard time lighting those bombs.
I don't know. It is made from the lining of or the stomach lining of the dongos, and they don't. I don't know. Maybe they're okay. They don't like eating bombs, so tough call there. Gonna make it rain.
This is kind of one of those scenes where it's a little difficult to tell where the game wants you to go next. You've got a bunch of stuff in the early game, but no real dungeons to go do yet.
Yeah, you got these like half hints of okay, I've got like half the requirements for this one.
Half of it for the other thing.
Right, and then the next thing we find just could be like Rito's letter or something, and the game's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, Jabu was the total next play. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, we should find something here for Fabio because we gave Goron City's Path to Morpha, and we found Diddley Squad in here for that.
And it's a hook shot. Well, it's not that.
No, it's not Nayru's Luck. That is logically irrelevant in these settings. It can't be relevant in other settings. Most notably, one-hit KO, quadruple damage, because there are places you just can't get to do otherwise. One-hit KO, quad damage,
Scrub
Grotto
Sanity.
Entrance Randomizer, or Scrub Sanity. Yeah, for the one Grotto in Goron City as adult. Yeah, and if it's yes, and Chad is correct. If there's a hookshot here on the pod, the other one can't be hookshot locked. Because otherwise, this hookshot wouldn't be Path to Morpha, it would be for PG. Sword Chest was not our answer. This Gerudo Valley is Chad gonna catch us out for the second fall in a row. Those missed it. The fourth qualifier had a hookshot on 10 skulls and a boomerang in the Gerudo Valley waterfall that really got a lot of people stuck.
Alright, come on, Zora Tunic for Central Pillar, yeah! Okay.
Nope, that's a hookshot. Which, if you know about the path prioritization, that is a very valuable piece of information that I just previously mentioned. With items that have different functions, but there are multiple copies that are equally available, then the path is going to be for the the most complicated available. So in this case, long shot. The strength in CAC is currently our strength 1, but if a second showed up someplace not strength locked, it would be strength 2 that would be the path in CAC. And yeah, that means Longshot is available if opponent does not path to Goma for logical GTG access, because that. Because we know logical GTG access is that hookshot. Wherever the first one is, it's not hookshot locked. We'll still see both runners go Forest Temple when they go back adult, but that is something to keep in mind is for those who remember the prioritization. It is in the rules doc, but it's also just easy to lose track of. I know I've done so multiple times today. Wallet. But if runners know that can potentially be a really good read of the seed as to where to find their other hook, because we do need both. Also, are we the other hookshot in Rudo's Letter of the Magic meter for potential no mode?
Yes.
Because we do have Gold Scale. This is not in logic, but you can do most of Water Temple with a Gold Scale.
Irons are on the arch.
Also that, anyway, good point.
Unless I mistake them for hovers, but there is some kind of footwear on the arch.
Yeah. Both runners really just going over things we've already seen, though. Not much to be said on that front. Fabio hasn't gone. Well, Fabio hasn't been to level because he hasn't gotten storms yet, right? Well, it does get the bomb tree timing on the Hot Rodder, nice. Yeah, the Sunrise Heavens have been nice to get a read for where stuff can be. Unfortunately, though, I think we're also just This is one of those scenes where your paths become resolved really early, and now you're just left looking at where is our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not chasing the Nocturne path for a bit. Saria's song is dead obvious. Hookshot's pretty self-explanatory. In Goron's fairly self-explanatory, although if you can read the path prioritization, that's useful info. Strength and CAC, yeah. Hammer and Graveyard with the bomb bag where it was, also pretty straightforward. They're nice for getting early game items. Unfortunately, these paths probably are going to be a bit kind of come back to be like, could we have gotten something a bit more late game hinted, please? But here's Child Spirit. This is interesting because depending on the key layout, there could be a fair bit in here available. That's not hookshot locked. Well, there's 21 shoes and plenty of bombs, so it's just gonna bomb you all the keys. This is one key. And I think this is Fabio heading to ranch, so he'll get his storms here. We're actually he's gonna go... chickens. I think maybe that'll be a Child River play. This is you play the Child River. Need to go buy beans for that, for the boots.
So because of that placement of that boss key, that automatically makes Requiem that automatically makes Requiem part of the path. Just because that's a child-only check.
Well, we don't know Requiem is for Spirit Temple.
Okay, that's true.
But boss key means that if we need to beat Spirit, if it's on Twin Rova, or then if the Kokiri Sword's on Twin Rova, boss Requiem is automatically path for the boss key and small key on child side.
Yeah.
We do know opponents is not part of the path. We have logical GTGX as we have a big Poe bottle and Fortress is foolish. We know Requiem is path, we just don't know what for. It could be Nocturne to get Song of Time for something in GTG. We know it can't be Song of Time for River Chest because we know that's a not required bomb back.
There's at least one more key.
Yep. Now here's a fun fact. We know that the hammer is path to King Dodongo because it blocks all bomb bags, which means that the River Chest bomb bag also has to be bomb locked. We know that Iron Boots are on the Colossus Arch. Requiem was not bomb locked. We have scales. We have a scale from Midos House for Child River X's for beans. Irons aren't bomb locked either. We know that one of our hook shots is bomb locked, but we don't know that the second one is. We have ZL also not bomb locked. So that tells, and we have a not bomb locked bow on Link to Goron as well for Water Temple. So that, which makes it interesting as to how is our River Chest bomb bag bomb locked becomes the question here.
Song of Time being on Prelude check would automatically be bomb locked.
Actually, yeah, that would do it. Yep, thank you.
Because there is a bomb you have to bomb open a wall.
Yep, and there's irons on Sunblock, which tells us that it's the hovers on Colossus.
It's the hover boots!
Okay, so that does it, yes. Thanks, new IT guys, trying to reason through things, and sometimes it just makes more sense if you talk it out.
Yep.
I'm not going Child Spirit, not going Ranch either, so he's not, doesn't have a Storms for Gold skill, but that's, but the bigger thing is, he currently has no Water Temple access, I guess is bigger, is the sum of that. Which could get interesting for later. I think we only saw one key on Child Climb, which is fun. Did we saw 2 on Child Climb? That was just
there was one in the lower part.
No, Child Climb room specifically. I know there was one on this child side.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Then there was one. Sorry, misunderstood what you're asking for.
Yeah, there could be a Kokiri Sword from Water Temple. I don't think there was a key on map chest, so where's this key logic document gone off to again? Spirit Temple is interesting for logic because key logic in Rando assumes that you use your keys in the worst way possible, which gets interesting for Spirit Temple because you can access it as both ages with different items. We have ranged weapons for both ages. Okay, so yeah, that's interesting. So we have ranged weapons for both ages. I was thinking of a different logic point. There's like, even in these quote-unquote, like, relatively tame settings with no key sanity, no entrance rando, no skill sanity, there's still about 15 different items that can be logically relevant to Spirit Temple. And those iron boots are currently out of logic.
And we have some double forest action about to start.
Which makes sense. No real reason not to do this. Our other hookshot should not be in here, otherwise I have questions for the Legachu, our random dev. Hookshot shouldn't be in here, but there are other things that could be here. Let's see, K-Sword shouldn't be here, otherwise I will also have serious questions about what the seed's doing. K-Sword can't be here, First Magic can be here, is I think one of the bigger, First Magic is First Magic could be something like a fetch quest. Rudo's Letter would just be kind of mean in here.
Another Strength could be in here.
Another Strength could be in here, yep. There's not a lot that could be in here, in part because there's not a lot left in the seed.
Dins could be in here.
Dins would be interesting. A Mirror Shield could be in here as well.
Oh yeah, Mirror. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much left. Could be a second wallet or a Sora Tunic, I guess.
Oh, big chest on the map chest.
Speaking of major items that could be in here, some bomb shoes is, yeah, that checks.
Yep. 8.
key
That
in
is
Bosking
a
well, I think.
Uh-huh.
No, we're pretty much just, I think, solidly landed in the randomizer mid game, where we've cleared out all the early checks. We're just in clear dungeons mode for the moment, and there's not a lot else to be said. And we've discussed the logic already, so.
Yep.
Forest Temple keys. We don't have the shortcut open, so Forest Temple key logic is: can you get to that chest?
Yep.
There are possibilities that we need hover boots or Forest Temple. No, I don't think they're particularly relevant, and we have hover boots. I mean, where hover boots are anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. That would only be really relevant if Strength 1 was here, and it happened to be out on...
Floor Master, I guess.
Yeah, Floor Master specifically. And even then, that's kind of mean.
Yeah, it would be. The Forest Temple is kind of infamous for not being a very interesting dungeon to watch. It's pretty so there are options in the randomizer to have shortcuts open for different dungeons, which for Forest Temple is the elevator in the main room. But we don't have that on in this tournament, so Forest Temple is just you run through it. There's not a lot else to be said about it. Run through the dungeon, you do the checks, you beat the boss. Yeah, that's about it. Not really a lot in the way of interesting strats, you just clear it.
Yeah.
In particular, because we don't let Furrows win, one of the few things that is vaguely interesting to watch in this.
Yeah, because the Twisted Hallways, fun fact, are 2 different maps. One twisted and untwisted, so if you set it in the twisted hallway and then go back out, retwist or untwist the hallway, I should say, and then Pharaoh's back, you will be on a different map.
Yep. Also, I just noticed that with Fabio's adult model, the hookshot like target thing is a different
Triforce.
Is an arrow. It's not. I think it's just like a mouse cursor kind of thing. I don't think it's a Triforce.
Looks like a triangle.
It is a triangle. I think it's just a regular arrow.
Oh, okay.
It's not yellow then, right?
Right.
I just noticed that. I was throwing me for a little loop slightly, and I was like, oh, right, that's his hookshot aiming thing.
Speaking of Floor Master chest. Hello, Floor Master.
Yeah, that was a key today.
Goodbye, Floor Master. And it is a key.
Forest does tend to be somewhat front-loaded with keys, but there's not really much ways to change this anyhow. Neither of them have hover boots, so we don't see either of them doing the interesting strat to this 3-key forest. Which is also an interesting case of OOT is a well-coded video game for getting that scarecrow to show up. Kind of hard to explain without the visuals, so I'm not going to bother in this case. Yeah, Shannon, I think so too, as we're likely just supposed to come here to beat the dungeon to go to Can's Castle for progression. Although there's also just this, like, that strength on the Shadow Trial too is probably logical strength 2 to go Spirit Temple, is what I'm thinking right now. Although there's also a side note that where's our logical? Where's the other hookshot? Because we know it can't be hookshot locked.
Well, here's a better question: where's our match? Because you're not clearing out that shadow trial without
Long shot or magic, yeah.
right.
Long shot. Let's see. Adult Lake is a very good possibility for the other hookshot. We have logical. We have bean access for it. Gerudo Valley is child.
Always a fun place.
Yep. Got a lot of people stuck on the last crawl. I wonder how many people will catch on that the other hookshot can't be hookshot locked. It's the path prioritization is something that's difficult to understand, especially when you're trying to play the seed and think about logic at the same time. But depending on if people will catch that, that could be a very good read, because we'll see what our runners here do when looking for that hookshot, the other hookshot, because it'll be a long shot for them, but in practice, we know why the hookshot should be available.
Right. Because they may just autopilot and go, "Oh yeah, duh, it's the hook shot because you have to have 2 hook shots to be morpho," but not think about the other implication of it.
Yep. Yeah. And I will say, the path prioritization is specified in the rules doc. The information is available. It is hard to get your mind around, and it doesn't always come up in every seed, but when it does, it can be very important. Because there's really not that many not hookshot locked places left in this seed.
Oh no. I was not aware that was a jump. I need to do that.
Like, we know inside Ganon's castle can't be it. Currently, Spirit Temple can't have the other hookshot either, because Strength 2 is in Ganon's. We don't know where Strength 3's at. So let's see. We haven't seen most of Hyrule Field. I forgot that. Big Po's could be it. We did get a Big Po bottle in the Lullen Ranch silo. Yeah, Field Valley Lake is likely. Child Lake as well. Ladder Spot, Child Fishing. Cat Archery is a thing, yep. We do have bows available, not behind a hookshot. Now that doesn't include the entirety of Hyrule Field, including the Tektite Grotto, because regardless of Spirit Key logic for Iron Boots, we have both scales available. Yeah, Shanna, you gotta read on that path prioritization. Valley Lake into Field would make a lot of sense, clearing our remaining not hookshot locked checks. Also, happy belated 1 hour, everyone. A Valley Lake into Field, depending if you do that as adult or child. We've got 2 checks in Child Lake, 3 in Adult Lake. Those being Fishing as both ages, Letter for child, and then Lab Roof and Lab Dive for adult. As well as Remote Grotto, Field Scrub, Open Grotto, Tektite Grotto. Is 4 checks. You've already seen Boulder of Destiny for the 5th. Yeah, decent. And then Valley is 2 checks. But that's there's a fair amount of stuff. And if you decide Reverse Wasteland as adult to get over there, Hammer gets you Hammer Rocks. I don't know that anyone really wants to go GTG right now without finding the logic for it. Whatever you think about the path prioritization, if at all, you know GTG is not available in logic. Well, I guess, right, I guess you can do Lab Dive as child with Gold Scale. I forget that. Oops.
Very nice kill from Fabio.
There's
And
the
a wet
tunic.
t-shirt.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see Ganon's play at this point for Fabio, looking for, if nothing. Although, what can be in Ganon's is actually an honest question at this point.
Rank 2.
But we can't get that.
Ritos.
Rudos, but how much would that unlock? We know Longshot can't be in there. That place is also not Nocturne locked. Like, I'm actually genuinely not certain what all we could find in there. Mirror could be there, I guess, yeah, but there's not a lot of immediate productiveness, I think, that could be found in Ganon's castle. Like, Strength 2 would be great, except we can't get it. It could be that Strength 3 is in there as well, to be fair, but Fabio's about to get his... Oh, actually, that's a Strength upgrade up here. Interesting.
Those look like boots.
Okay, off the Spirit Temple. I guess this is what I'll say to that.
Boots are hard.
So that is very much Requiem locked, yes. Case Word might be in Light Trial? Yep, it might. Case Word also just might be in here. There, that is Hookshot locked as a side note. We do have ranged weaponry as a build in the form of bow and bomb, so Hookshot is not logically required from much of anything in here particular, actually, aside from Twin Rova. We can do most of the rest of this because we have an adult ranged weapon. That's not a Hookshot to hit switches and whatnot with. Yeah, Spirit Key logic includes considerations for ranged weaponry for both ages, which is slingshots, boomerang, hookshots, bows, and explosives have their own particular thing. Bomb shoes can be considered as a child projectile if they're in logic, and the trick is enabled. Yeah, especially because you basically just need to... Can you hit the first switch there? Is more or less the big thing with the ranged weaponry. Boulders was a key, which it had to be since maps and sunblock were not it, and we only had one on child climb. Compass wasn't the key either. Adult climb has a small chest and a small chest. I guess, okay, there's one. Hookshot is also required for the ledge chest in this room because you don't have hover boots to get there. I think you can jump slash to the small key chest there, but you can't get to the ledge chest without Hookshot. And it's dead anyway. Sadly, Fabio does not have magic to get his iron boots with. There is a strat to do the sunblock room and the map room without the map chest without a fire source as adult with a bow, but it's a little silly, particularly on keyboard.
Oh.
Letter. Okay, game.
Ends.
And
Okay.
magic. I'm not really sure you wanted to see that letter there. Magic is nice. Letter, yeah, probably it doesn't have a fire source to get this around because the fire arrows are also well hinted. Would have laughed if that was Din's, but nope, that's the other wallet. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what to make of these major items in Spirit, I'll be honest. I'll be remembering the boss key chest is available. He's resetting the room because this wall kind of sucks. And Volk is gonna be left without the BK chest just because it is kind of slow and a little bit of a detour. Except for this wall, by the way, hold Z and the game in the wall won't knock you off. And it's time for Volk. I'm not really sure what he's going to find in here. Although Light Trail could have our key sword. Question still remains where's the other hook shot is thing. Nothing in the Spirit Boss Key chest, it's good for Volk. And Fabio, it looks like he's gonna make a plated child here. Spirit for as a note was not well, statue hand might actually let me go find the spirit key logic. I kind of think I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, okay, you can just jump slash to the statue hand, so none of our keys in Spirit Temple were hookshot locked. So Rudo's letter is available, so is that boomerang, which is Lower River. Jabu is a very real possibility for where our other hookshots gone off to. Probably also has Ranch and Well left to do, right? Well, he will have the well once he goes ranch. And OT, yep, which I think is the likely vignette. It is, no surprise. If you have a read on the path prioritization, Valley Lake Field into Jabu might not be the worst idea here. Valley Lake Field, we know, is not hookshot locked. I don't believe that that Rudo's Letter in Spirit Temple was hookshot locked either. So Jabu is a not ideal but possible placement for the other hookshot. It is also possibly where our K-Sword's gone off to. Although I think if K-Sword's unbarricaded again, people are going to be a bit mad. In Invisible Hallway, Shannock, our keys were Child Side, Child Climb, Boulders, and Statue Hand were the ones we saw. I think our last key is on the Forearmmost chest. Yeah, or actually possibly getting trolled by the bubble. I didn't catch if Colossus' right hand was a small key or a small chest, but yeah, and the jump slash gets the fourth key exactly. Spirit invisible chests are in logic without a hook shot.
And I believe the left hand was in fact a small.
Right hand was a small key. Okay.
Yeah, or no, the right hand was just a small chest.
A small chest. Okay, so Forearmmost is our last key then.
Yeah.
Not that it really matters. We don't need all 5 keys for the invisibles.
Nope.
Fabio gonna see his big Po bottle, which I would actually pick up. Just in case big Po's turns out to be something.
Oh, wow. Okay, you got it.
Nice, that's not the easiest to aim.
All right, because you need long shot to hit that chest.
Yeah.
And those are vanilla gold gauntlets.
Yep. This is the wall for Fabio. We know there's fire arrows in here, and fire arrows and gold skill are the big things out of here. And I think he will get the fire arrows. That hand's a little slow and tinted, but at the same time, he probably doesn't realize that Shadow Trial 2 can't be locked. He probably doesn't know it. He might still want fire arrows for just like strength 3 at any rate, regardless of the hookshot's logic.
Thanks, Tens. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to have to get Song of Time off Prelude game. Yeah, Song of Time is either Prelude or Ice, both of which are Requiem locked. They are hard Requiem locked, in fact. Ice Cavern is hard Requiem locked. Prelude is logically Requiem locked right now. Do you know where the other magic is? Other magic very well could be in Foolish Shadow Temple, because again, you could have a item that's functionally identical to the other copies in a Foolish area if one copy locks all others, and magic in Foolish Shadow is not unusual. Requiem is very, very path blocks right now for all sorts of stuff.
You'll probably see the rock now.
Yep. I just had an interesting thought looking at my notes. Let's see. So I was just looking back at I was just looking at our path list again in the Kaka PG hint. Here's the bow. We'll see it again here for Fabio, but I don't believe our scale was ZL locked here in the well. There's our case. Which fairy was that?
OGC.
Okay, that checks. Requiem for strength for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this right here was the scale, I believe.
Yeah, okay, so well bomb locked, because that's a point of interest, actually. I was looking at our CAC path to Goma again. The Shadow Trial 2 strength is very strength, because we've been assuming that the CAC path to Goma is a strength. However, I'm trying to. I don't think the strength on Colossus Arch is strength locked.
No, it's bomb scale locked.
Yeah, when we have bombs and a scale.
Right.
So it can't be the strength path to Phantom Ganon and Cap.
Cool.
Because there's 2 strengths available and neither lock each other between Man on Roof and Colossus Arch. And yeah, and skill and might is. So it's Bolero for ZL, which must lock both hook shots. We know that one hook shot was the Goron pot, which you needed ZL to get the torch because Dins is in light trial.
Mm-hmm.
So the other hookshot also has to be ZL locked.
That is correct.
Now the question becomes, what's left at ZL locked and not hookshot locked? And I think the toss-up is either Fountain Fairy or the adult, or just adult fountain in general, for that matter, or Ice Cavern. I think is where that's going. Because we have scales for Jabu access, and letter is available. For
so we
discussion.
have Castle Fairy. We have.
Someone checked Castle Fairy earlier.
Oh, someone did. Okay.
Rudos is itself. And just to confirm, because I'm gonna, Invisibles are 4 key locked. The 4th key was also ZL locked, is a fair point. So yeah, Rudos is ZL locked, good point. So yeah, anything, I'm thinking the Fountain Domain area, the domain itself is foolish, but the Fountain Ice Jabu area is where other hookshot should be then. I don't think there's anywhere else that's ZL locked and not hookshot locked. Because Rudos, yeah, good point. I forgot Rudos is ZL locked by way of Spirit Key logic. Deku has a good shot of having a hook at ZL locked. No, Virgil. Deku cannot have the hook shot because one of our strengths is Vanilla in Ganon's Castle, and our Kokiri Sword is on OGC. We need a hook shot to get to Ganon's Castle. Remember, our other hookshot cannot be hookshot locked.
Right.
So, Jabu, Ice, or Fountain? So
Man,
Alex.
So appealing.
Yeah. Deku is not Path to Morpha, Shanok. The Path to Morpha that is in question is a Goron City to Longshot. So the context here is we have a path that is Goron City to Morpha. We found the hookshot in the Goron pot. The problem is, Forest Temple is a stone, Water Temple is the Shadow Medallion. That hookshot can only be hinted path to Morpha if the other hookshot is available. We also know that Kakariko is path to Phantom Ganon. There was a strength upgrade in Bolero in there. There's multiple strengths available by way of some beam logic, more or less. It's a little funny, but we have multiple strengths available, so it cannot be the strength. It is Bolero which it locks ZL, which tells us that both hookshots must be ZL locked. The one in Goron City is fine because it was on the pod and we needed ZL to do that. Nice mirror shield. With that said, Rest of Spirit cannot have the hookshot because of that.
Yep.
Yeah. ZL, we know that our hookshot cannot be hookshot locked and it must be ZL locked. That kills Valley, that kills Lake. Mm-hmm. It also kills any possibility of Song of Time on Prelude being a thing. GTG is also dead, by the way, because we were missing Longshot and Epona is very not available on Burning Cack.
Also can't be in Shadow.
Can't be in Shadow, it was foolish to begin with. But the only places that are left... Spirit Key Logic gets a little funny. I've had to read the Spirit Key Logic document about 5 times today. But Spirit Temple... even though we just got Mirror Shield, because that was in Deku, and Deku cannot have our... and Deku is hookshot locked. As we have a vanilla strength 3 here for Fabio incoming, and Kokiri's Sword is OGC. Yeah. Mirror Shield can't be it, Goma can't be it. The only places that are ZL locked but not hookshot locked are going to be Jabu, Ice, Fountain, and I guess DMC Fairy. I don't know if anyone ever checked that. I think we've seen the other fairy fountains.
Mm-hmm.
Rotos is ZL locked behind Spirit Key Logic, but it is not hookshot locked behind said same Spirit Key Logic. You checked and saying no one's checked DMC Fairy. Didn't think so. With Fire being recompleted, no one really had a reason to... Oh, no, it was. Okay. Thank you, Virgil. So yeah, we're pretty much just... I highly doubt anyone in chat reads it that, or anyone in the race reads it that far. This has gotten to be one of the more spaghettified versions of the path prioritization logic I've seen in a while. But it's interesting to analyze from a restream standpoint, especially because there's not a lot else to talk about. Yeah, we don't know which one of Suns or Song of Time is Prelude versus Ice Cavern, and both are irrelevant at this point in time. It also can't be a long shot in water for the same previous reasoning, because you need a hookshot to get in there. Now, unfortunately, I think for just about everyone, Jabu and Ice just are not appealing plays to do.
That's right. That was where the other slingshot was.
Yep.
So 10, 20, and that.
Yep. Because I wouldn't be surprised to see people take that Mirror Shield back to Spirit Temple. I wouldn't be surprised if people go into Water Temple looking for at least the boss key. I don't even think people will necessarily realize that the hookshot has to be ZL locked just because you think of course it's a strength in CAC. The Bolero one's a lot more convoluted.
This looks like a nice play from Volk.
This might be a bit of a YOLO play here. I'm curious to see, because it is kind of, there's no really obvious play at the same time. I don't think there's a good way to get a read on the path prioritization logic, but there's also nothing particularly sending you in a specific direction either, so this isn't a bad idea.
No, I like this. Well...
My options kind of suck. What do I want to do?
Your options kind of suck, and you could go into ice and get womp at the end because ice could just be the dead check for songs.
Or it could be Song of Time, which, from all you know, could
Right. So
be interesting.
that is, I think, worth a gamble on.
Yeah, it's also just quick.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because they have blue fire arrows. Yeah, we do know it's either Sun Song or Song of Time. We do have the item because that was a mini check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, here's something interesting.
Hmm?
Unfreezing King Zora is ZL locked.
It is ZL locked. It is not. It is not hookshot locked.
And blue fire arrows were readily available.
Blue fire arrows are dead. Or domain's foolish. That was chat points out. Never mind.
Oh. Chat always has to remove my fun. I honestly forgot which one of them was dead. I just remember Zora something was dead.
Yeah. Alright, there's approximately a 50% chance of Oak finds his long shot in here.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's in Jabu, is basically, I think, what this boils down to.
Yep, could be the iceberg, could be the bottom.
Could be Fountain Fairy.
Mm-hmm. We got 3 checks and then a couple more inside. Nice.
Okay, it's a little higher than 50%, to be fair, Shanak, I was rounding. Because there's 4 checks in Jabu, there's 3 in Fountain here as a dull, it's not the fairy. 3 in Fountain plus 4 in Ice. So yeah, 7 versus 4 is... Yeah, okay, I just can't math.
Those are some hover boots.
Wait, under Icy Waters?
No, on the berg.
Oh, on the Iceberg Buddy game. Those are not relevant. Shadow is foolish, and we know it can't be.
And it can't be fire logic of any kind.
No, Dins was in... Especially, even though part of Shadow is available without a... Would be available without a hookshot, Dins was in Light Trial.
Yep.
Speaking of boots, there's irons for Favio. I guess that's one way of looking at it, right, Shanna? Because about 4 checks in Ice, Jabu, and Fountain roughly each, so that's fair, yeah.
And unsurprisingly, finding the irons and immediately dipping water.
This is also a perfectly sensible play from Favio's perspective. Again, it's really hard to get the read on the path hints with hookshots. And you need to find the boss key anyway, so not a bad idea. Like, it's one thing for path prioritization if you have like Shadow Temple as a stone and DC's the Spear Medallion, then you know you won't be getting a King Dodongo hint. That's a pretty straightforward one. It's a different thing for path prioritization. You get something this spaghetti. I guess so for fun. And like, even if boss key's early, Flavio's going to be one of a lot of runners, I think, who make this trip. I wouldn't be surprised if Volk comes in here as well before trying Jabu, assuming, you know, Longshot's not in Ice Cavern. Hey, it's not map chest of ice. I will say, I think the odds are low, but if anyone manages to get a read on the path prioritization hints, they probably have a big lead on everyone else in this seed. Because the other items weren't bad. It's just this hookshot that's tripping everyone up. No Bosky in water? Yeah. Well, looks like we got a key on map and a key on compass.
I just thought of something.
Hmm?
So because of how songs work in this, the hookshot could technically be on the song check here.
No, we already got the song item. That was the menu I checked. Was a huge rupee, remember?
Oh, for ice, yeah. And,
The song here has to be Suns or Storm. Or Song of Time, sorry.
mm-hmm.
And it is a big chest.
All right, game.
And yeah, that figures.
And that is go mode?
That is go mode for Volk at an hour 35. And I looked away, but did you find the boss key?
I did not see.
Me neither. Oh, it's in torches. That is pretty quick, yeah. And there we are. So this is going to be a pretty quick finish time here for Volk. It's worth noting, I think, at this point. So we are in a 15-minute delay. Don't spoil the race time, please, chat. But with that said, now that Volk is in Beat Morpha and Go Beat the Game mode, no finishes just yet. This is going to be a very, very speedy one here for Volk, and I'm curious to see how other people will do. Because on the one hand, I highly doubt anyone gets a read on the path prioritization. On the other hand, Ice is also just one of the not bad plays, as we see Fabio going there too. For the all of my options kind of suck. Where am I going next? that you end up in here. And so I think a lot of people will go here over, say, cleaning up field or Jabu or similar.
Unfortunate Volk missing that quick grab.
Yeah.
And dead Amoeba.
Okay, there's his last medallion.
And equip the forest dip here for bulk. Go zoomies back to Cannon's Castle.
Yep. Good chance Volk figured out the shenanigans about Hookshot. I can't really honestly tell, but maybe it's kind of hard to read this because it is very complicated, and I'm not entirely sure. Like, it took us quite a while to sort it all through, just because there's so much to consider and so many different items at hand. You're looking at multiple strengths, multiple scales, you're looking at the bomb bags at one point. There's all sorts of stuff to consider with these paths. I think this might be just a going ice because it's fast and we're adult anyway, where all of our options kind of suck. Like, I think that's genuinely what probably sends people to ice. I think if it had been Baronite as Java was the answer, we would have had a much harder time with things.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm not going to speak for every runner, but I think about every runner out of every runner is going to pick ice over Jabu.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the other options, dip water for the boss key, like Fabio did, is reasonable. Maybe go beat Spirit Temple, I guess, so that's only a couple checks and they're kind of slow. Fire is foolish. You don't really want to go Shadow without the hover boosts that are in ice that are in the fountain, and that's foolish anyway. You don't have logical GTG access. Stream just froze. Okay, there we go. Just a blip. Speed. I think that was an SG side error. Speedgaming's been having some issues with stream freezes lately.
But very nice one cycle.
And I think Shannock's saying they think Volk had to have at least known the long shot wasn't hookshot luck, otherwise you grab the hovers on your way in case you need song of time. Maybe. I mean, he could have also just planned on getting hovers on the way back out. I'm not quite sure, but it's fairly inconsequential as matters go. And for Ganon, still no finishers, by the way. Honestly, though, I think the scene was fairly friendly. Not too... Like, the hookshot logic was as to where the hookshot could be was complicated, but it wasn't terrible to find, ultimately. And the other items are all in fairly reasonable spots, so... And now Fabio's stream is frozen. Again, I believe this is a speed gaming problem. Okay, he's back. Good. Oh, did he find a boss key already? I'm not quite sure what Fabio's doing. Oh, he doesn't have... Oh, he doesn't... Wait, I just realized. Something... Did Fabio ever go OG Seed?
No.
That would be why.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier and I didn't know if it was just missed on the tracker or not, but yeah, he does not have casework.
It's not terrible a spot to find, but he's going to lose a bit of extra time. On the other side, though, JP's to Volk, 145.14. And that is first place. Alright, so I did check with Volk if he wants to interview. Understandably, he has declined. He's in France, it's 2 in the morning for him, and I know his English isn't the best. So no interview for Volk today, but JJ's name, this was a really, really good race for him. First place here is always good for, depending on the exact spread of finish times, but it's always good for at least in the high 90s for points. So points are calculated based on your time compared to the top runners in the qualifier, which for quals under 20 people is the top 3. Really for quals over 20, it's top 4th, and we might adjust that for quals over 30, might go to top 5 when we discuss internally. And then it's basically a standard deviation based on that. Maximum amount of points you can earn is 110, minimum is 10 if you finish. Forfeits are 0 points. This is Volk's first qualifier, so a very nice finish here for his first. Yeah, Fabio's gonna finish up here, and we'll see where he goes next, because he does have some options. He at least mercifully doesn't have that mirror shield, so can't, because that's a Deku, so he can't get baited back to Sparrow Temple. So I wonder if this might be OGC into Child Cleanup. Probably gonna might clean up Battle Lake while he's here as well. He doesn't have a ton left as adult, so that's good.
Yep, this looks like OGC.
We're just gonna go GC first, okay. Actually, he perhaps realizes that Adelaide can't have his Kokiri sword due to the path. Yeah, Irons and Sunblock just put water in his radar for K-Sword, but yeah, that's go mode for Fabio here. Yeah, forget I reclaim locked irons as well. It's going to be a pretty quick deco here for Fabio. Sorry, with the 15-minute delay catching up on some things as attorney admin. Alright, so... hey Cola, GG's. Restream did not touch GTG today. If you get the read on the logic, the patterns are very interesting to see from a logic perspective. You can figure out that GTG is absolutely worthless. Cola, Restream no mode was Longshot, and Longshot could not have been hookshot locked. But yeah, we do have some finishes still. Let me catch up on that. With a 50-minute delay, we have Equalist second, 151.04. What the hell's happened? 151.58. Alligatra sniping Mr. Mario, 153.25, 153.29. Actually, that's a little bit spoilers. Looks like Fabio's go was K-Sword. Yeah, he didn't check out GC after Ganon's Castle. I guess a little bit of spoilers on the Ella and Mario finishes. Whoops. This will be finishing here fairly soon for So, Juke, why is the GG you as well, spoilers, huh? Why is Longshot not hookshot locked? Because of path prioritization. With the split win conditions, an item that is on the path to a stone that is required to beat a stone dungeon cannot be hinted on the path to a light arrow cutscene medallion. We know that the hookshot in Goron City was hinted path to Morpha. That means it couldn't have been the only available hookshot because otherwise it would have been a PG path instead. That told us that the other hookshot could not be hookshot locked. It's in the rules, Doc Juke. The easiest way to think of this is it's just how patterns are coded. Don't ask me. I'm not the one who came up with it, but that's how that's how those are coded. That one's actually relatively easy to read. We had an interesting time discussing the hookshot logic because if you read the patterns well, you can figure out that the hookshot has to be ZL locked and not hookshot locked because the Colossus Arch strength was available without a strength upgrade for. There's some convoluted things involving scales there. But Colossus Arch strength is not strength locked, so Cat the PG could not have been for the strength upgrade, so Bolero was Path and Cac for the hookshots. So you knew that, yeah, you knew that both hookshots had to be ZL locked, and the second one couldn't be the hookshot, and neither locked each other, which left not a lot of places, basically. I also had to read through the Spirit Key Logic document about 5 times to determine that a variety of things, including Ritos is not hookshot locked. It is ZL locked though. And yeah, so Jabu Ice Fountain was pretty much the only place available for that long shot. And Requiem was ZL locked too. Forgot that. Storms is in Ranch, yes, Cola. And with the long shot and hovers behind Light, other than all the was actually ZL locked. Yeah, I forgot that Shattock until just now. I forgot about Requiem. Alright, and this is going to be GG's here to Fabio shortly. We haven't had any more finishes since I read off Marianella's finishes. So this is going to, in fact, be here if he doesn't get sniped. 6th place for Fabio, with an official race time.gg time of 1:57.14. Flavio will be joining us for an interview once he finds his way in here. And we are now joined by Fabio GG.
Hello?
Hey, we can hear you.
Okay. GG.
So, what did you think of the seed?
A lot of things. A lot. First, I totally regret my early game.
No?
I think it wasn't good. It was very weird.
I guess I was just kind of thinking about things. The seed was a little odd in the early game because it gave you a lot of items, but it didn't give you either hookshot for a long time. So you beat DC, and then you can't beat Force, and you're just kind of like, what do I do? So you did a lot of different checks looking for a hookshot, which ended up being on Goron Pat.
Yeah, I was thinking that because if I wouldn't gone child early, I was gonna go long for sure. So you have storms there, and I probably would have got the hookshot and the fire arrows a bit early.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pseudos, otherwise, it gave you a lot of hints, it gave you a lot of information as to where to go. Longshot was kind of the thing that I think left everyone wondering for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you picked up on the path logic because it was rather complicated this seed, Fabio, but we were able to figure out after a while, admittedly, that your long shot had to be ZL locked, but not hookshot locked. Which, once we saw a letter, meant it really could only be Jabu Iceworth Fountain.
Yeah, that was interesting. I was totally expecting Kokiriso, not gonna lie, but just when I got the long shot, like, or even much earlier, when there was a key in the Colossus right hand, I just immediately discarded GTG. Like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
I don't know if
we
it was
weren't quite
the
sure
right
if that
decision,
was.
but and yeah, so and the Kokiriso was the other thing.
Yeah, Kakiri's sword was kind of interesting because we knew Requiem was path to Goma, but there was a lot of things in Spirit Temple. And it turns out that you needed, well, I guess you kind of needed, you needed, if absolutely nothing else, the easiest to read there is the Strength off Colossus Arch to get OGC.
Yeah, I was about to do it after taking all Ganons. It was either that or Jabu.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of obvious places left. Shadow was foolish, obviously. Fire pre-completed. Spirit was, you had read for Spirit that. Hammer was required for bomb bag, Juke, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think we saw the third bomb bag.
Never saw it. It's probably in Shadow Temple.
Seems reasonable.
No, Juke. Requiem, there were only two. Requiem, so Hammer had to. Requiem didn't lock bomb bag whatsoever. You can't have the same item on two different paths. Is ultimately what that one boils down to, is Requiem had to be the path to Goma because Requiem did not lock your bomb bag. Hammer had to be the path in Graveyard for King Dodongo. Or unless did you miss the Graveyard to King Dodongo hit, Juke? Because that was an upper river.
Cool.
Okay, Juke missed the second Graveyard path. That would do it. yeah. There was two Graveyard paths. There were two Phantom Ganon paths and two Graveyard paths. SFM and Cactus Phantom Ganon, Goron Seed Morpha, and then Graveyard to both Goma and King Dodongo. Yeah, so Requiem had to be the path to Goma because the King Dodongo path was the Hammer. But yeah, any questions for us, Fabio?
I'm seeing that Volk got the mirror shield. Where was it?
Vacuum tree right in the compass chest room. It's the one behind the Skulltula.
Yeah.
Or the Skulltula, whatever they're called.
Like upstairs, yeah. You were in Go Mode by the time you hit Deku Tree, so you never found it.
Okay, so their grandma was the long shot, I assume?
Yes. Or, well, hook shot, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Volk got his long shot was Volk's Go Mode. He went OGC after Ganon's, found his Kokiri sword and went Deku. Because one of the things Volk did too is in his Child 1 Fabio, he went He went well. He went ranch. He went well with the storms from ranch. He got his fire arrows. He got so he could get strength 3 out of first out of Shadow Trial early.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because I got storms like an hour and 10 or something.
It was
I can't
relatively
remember.
late for you, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was saying that I could have done my early game could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
I think you also dipped DC without the bomb bag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which
that
made
slowed you
sense,
down.
to be fair. Some quick checks, you could set the elevator, but yeah, that turns out bomb bag was like just 5 minutes out in the Lost Woods bomb crowd, so.
Yeah, I was more doing that route because in my mind, like I was expecting to get hook shot early to also do forest and Adel 1.
Yeah,
But
that
it
makes
didn't
sense.
happen. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't good, but it's okay.
You know, we still had a pretty decent finish time. Sub 2 hours is always nice, even for SGL.
Yeah, definitely.
I plugged in some preliminary numbers. All the full qualifier standings will probably get updated tomorrow, because it is getting a little late. Maybe it's either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when the last finish comes in. Probably later tonight, maybe. But I did plug in some preliminary numbers. Right now, as it stands, with the top 4 finishers being the part-time, this may change to the top 5. We'll discuss internally. For qualifiers over 30 entrants, because we've had a lot of them this year, which has been really nice. Currently, though, Volk has getting 104.7 points out of this. Ecola 99.4, what the hell's 98.6, and then so on. You're getting a nice almost 93.8 points out of this, Fabio, which isn't bad.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you were still pretty close to the top here. We're seeing a lot of finishes rolling here now in the 2 hour to 2:15 range. We had Jimbo and Mr. Martin barely cutting to sub 2, with Jimbo at 159 flat, Mr. Martin 159.50, Chuckles 2 hours and 23 seconds, Tensai 201.40, King Samson 202.26, Koa 203.20, Nath 204.20, no 204.01, and some Zevjuk, Manu, Red, Evan, plenty of finishers here, so I think you do eventually figure the seed out. There's only so much in the game to do. It just takes some time, but 93 points still pretty solid, Fabio. We have a really competitive field this year, a group of runners this year, so I'm curious what the cutoff will be for top 32. It was like an 83.6, I think, last year. It'll probably be higher this year.
Oof. One more question. Just curious. Is the dual hint from Dead Hand the Well always?
That's a sometimes.
Because all the seats I played so far had that hint.
I mean, I think there's only about 10 or 12 dual hints available in this hint distro, and there are 3 of them in every seed, so I guess that's just random here.
Yeah.
I promise you it's not an always hint, that's just the game being funny.
Okay. Nah, I know it isn't, but I always read that hint every seed so far I played.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get going now.
Yeah, GG's, and good luck in your next call.
Thanks for the restream, Star New IT Guy. That correct?
New IT guy. Yep.
New IT Guy. Thanks for the restream, and I'll see you in the next race. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Yeah, so any last thoughts, new IT guy? I think that's about it for us tonight.
Nope, I think we have said everything that needed to be said about this seed.
Yeah, I know. We sure
And
spent
then
enough
probably
time
then
talking
some.
about. Yeah, I know. We spent plenty of time talking about the logic there for sure.
Right.
But yeah, so GG's again to everyone in the qualifier here. We do have 19 finishers, some forfeits, unsurprisingly. 38 entrants total today. There are still a number of people racing. Please don't spoil them. We still have 7 qualifiers left. Do note that up to 6 qualifiers count if you do for 4 or more. The 4 to 6 qualifiers, the lowest score is dropped. If you do 3, all 3 count. So our next qualifier will be this Friday the 9th. It'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. Restream to be decided. And channel, but when we are still missing a tracker for that if anyone's available. And we'll have qualifiers this weekend as well on the 10th and the 11th, 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern. There's also plenty of other things going on the Speed Gaming channels, other Speed Gaming live tournaments, other non-Speed Gaming live tournaments, weekly races, and other stuff besides if you want to check those out. For now, that's going to be it here.